She thought he was just a lonely old man needing kindness. And until the will was read and her name shocked the entire courtroom, diner was almost empty that rainy morning when Ella noticed the old man walk in. His clothes were drenched and his shoes squeaked with every step. Thomas sat down heavily at one of the booths near the window. His face was lined, his shoulders slumped, and there was a profound sadness in his cloudy blue eyes. Ella could tell this wasn't just a bad day or a streak of bad luck. This man was tired, like someone who hadn't slept well in years. Ella was a waitress at Joe's Diner. It was the type of place where the coffee was strong, the pies were homemade, and everyone knew your name. Well, not literally everyone. There were about 20 regular customers, but Ella knew their names and their usual orders. For the rest, she didn't know much, but she never turned away anyone in need. That's why when she saw the old man shivering, she brought him a warm smile. "Good morning, honey, come sit here, will you? It's right next to the heater," she said, leading him to the booth. The old man nodded silently and sat down. Ella brought him a fresh cup of coffee and a stack of napkins. Normally, she'd offer food, but she didn't want to push it if he wasn't comfortable talking. "Thank you," the old man whispered, his eyes fixed on the swirling steam. He took a shaky sip and then looked up at her, his gaze intense. "Do you mind if I ask you something?" "Of course not," Ella replied, leaning against the table. "What is it? Do you have sugar, or maybe some honey?" "My throat is so sore I could swallow glass and not feel a thing," he rasped, wincing as he spoke. "Of course, dearie," Ella said, fetching a packet of sugar. "Here you go, just put a little in, stir it up and take your time." He took the sugar, added 2 spoonfuls to his coffee, stirred slowly, and then drank it in silence. The bell above the door tinkled, announcing another customer, and Ella turned to greet them, while the old man sat quietly sipping his coffee, watching her. When she returned, she noticed the untouched cup of coffee in front of him and asked, "Would you like some more?" "No, thank you," he replied softly. "That was exactly what I needed." The morning dragged on and the rain showed no signs of stopping. Ella kept an eye on the old man, making sure he was all right. Every now and then he would start and flinch, as if expecting something unpleasant. Then he would take another sip of his coffee and close his eyes as if chasing a fleeting memory. By noon, Ella was about to close up. Business wasn't great and there was no point in staying open on such a bleak day. As she approached the counter, she realized the old man was gone. She checked the tables, the chairs were pushed in neatly, and he was nowhere to be seen. Frowning, she went to the restroom, but he wasn't there. Confusion tugged at her. She thought he might have left without paying. But when she opened the door, she found him sitting on the floor by the water pipes under the sink, leaning against the wall with his eyes closed. "Are you all right?" she asked, bending down beside him. He opened his eyes slowly and a sad smile touched his lips. "I just needed a moment, ma'am. Thank you for everything. You've given an old man more warmth in an hour than I've felt in years." Ella felt a lump form in her throat. She helped him up, brushed off his clothes, and walked him to the door. "Take care, sir, and please, whatever you do, don't forget to look after yourself." "Thank you, Mom. You've been an angel to me," he said, reaching out to touch her hand. Then he shuffled away into the rain, leaving Ella with a heart full of warmth and concern. Over the next few days, the old man became a regular at the diner, always arriving early, always ordering the same thing, always being treated like family by Ella. Sometimes he would talk about his travels or share stories about his grandchildren. Other times he would sit in silence, lost in his thoughts. Ella didn't mind. She enjoyed his company and she was glad to offer him a hot meal and a listening ear. One day, however, the old man didn't show up. 2 weeks passed, no sign of him. Ella asked Joe, the diner owner, if he had seen the man, but he had not. Ella forgot as life moved on. Then one day, a black car pulled up outside the diner. A man in a suit got out and entered. "Is Ella working today?" he asked Joe, who confirmed that she was. The man in the suit approached Ella and said, "I have something for you." He handed her an envelope and said, "Mr. Gerald Kingsley wanted you to have this." Ella opened the envelope and her eyes widened in disbelief. Inside was a letter in an elegant script, probably written by the old man. With trembling hands, she read, "To the kindest soul I have ever met, Ella, this is my way of saying thank you for your kindness when I needed it most. Consider this my small token of appreciation for your generosity." Beneath the letter was a check made out to Ella for $10 million. As she absorbed this unexpected windfall, the lawyer continued, "Mr. Kingsley also wanted you to have his home. It's currently being looked after, but we can get it ready for you whenever you like." The room spun. Ella dropped into a chair as every eye in the diner locked onto her. She was stunned. Why would the old man leave her his estate and such a large sum of money? Then, just as she tried to comprehend it all, her phone rang. It was from a blocked number. Ella hesitated before picking up, her heart pounding. A low voice whispered on the other end, "You were kind, but now they'll come for you too. Don't trust anyone. He left more than money behind." Her hands shook as she looked out the window and saw another black car pull up. This one with no logo. The windows were tinted so she couldn't see through them. Who was in that car? And what did the old man mean by "they'll come for you too"? Days turned into weeks and Ella found herself living a life she never imagined possible. She moved into Gerald's sprawling mansion, a place filled with art, history, and secrets. The walls seemed to whisper stories of a life she had only glimpsed, a life of luxury and mystery. She never forgot about the ominous phone call, though. Every time the doorbell rang, her heart raced, convinced it was the moment when the shadows from the old man's past would catch up to her. Yet no one came. Time passed and the fear subsided, replaced by the desire to honor Gerald's memory. One rainy afternoon, while sorting through his things, Ella stumbled upon a hidden compartment in his study. Inside, she found a journal bound in leather. Its pages, filled with Gerald's neat script, detailed not just his thoughts and feelings, but a life far different from the one he had shown her. As Ella read, she learned about a secret organization called the Keepers, an elite group dedicated to protecting ancient artifacts of immense power. Gerald, it seemed, had been a keeper, and the mansion was not just a luxurious residence, but a safe house for these artifacts. The final entry in the journal sent chills down Ella's spine. Gerald wrote about a betrayal within the Keepers, a conspiracy that threatened to destroy everything he had worked for. He spoke of hidden clues, a legacy that would continue, and a threat that would come for him no matter how well he guarded himself. Suddenly, a crash from downstairs shattered the quiet. Ella's heart pounded as she considered what Gerald had written. Was this the moment she had dreaded? As she crept closer to the stairs, a glint of metal caught her eye. It was the antique sword she had admired in the hall. It was loose, and one of the conspirators must have dislodged it. Then, as Ella descended the stairs, a deep voice echoed through the house. Looking for this, the intruder stood by the front door, sword in hand. "I believe it rightfully belongs to us now. Don't you think, Ella?" In that instant, Ella understood. The old man wasn't just a lonely recluse. He was Gerald Kingsley, former billionaire and keeper of ancient secrets, and he had chosen her, Ella, the waitress with a kind heart, to carry on his legacy. The next few moments were a blur. The fight was intense and dangerous, but Ella, armed with her wits and a newfound determination, managed to hold her own. She dodged the sword's sharp edge, using her agility to keep just out of reach. As the struggle intensified, Ella spotted the heavy oak table nearby, a relic from another time. Just like the sword, with a surge of adrenaline, she lunged, sweeping her leg out to trip her opponent. The table tipped over, sending the sword clattering across the floor. Now disarmed and trapped under the table, the intruder struggled, but Ella's grip was firm. The rain continued its relentless drumming on the windows, providing a steady rhythm to this silent battle. Finally, as dawn broke, casting pale light through the dusty windows, Ella heard sirens in the distance. Her captor panicked, knowing the game was up. In a last-ditch effort, he lunged for the fallen sword, but Ella was faster. She kicked it away, just out of his reach. The man snarled, lunging at Ella, but she held her ground. The sound of police cars grew louder. "It's over," she whispered, her voice shaking with adrenaline. Moments later, the front door burst open and police rushed in, taking the struggling man into custody. As the house filled with officers, Ella sank to her knees, exhaustion washing over her. Despite the lingering scent of danger, Ella found peace in the quiet aftermath. The house, once again filled with the comforting sound of rain, seemed to sigh in relief. The following weeks were a whirlwind for Ella. Not only had she survived an ordeal that tested her courage and strength, but she had also inherited a world she never knew existed, a world of secret societies and ancient relics. With the help of Gerald's trusted allies within the Keepers, Ella navigated this uncharted territory. She learned about her own untapped potential, a potential that had been waiting to be discovered. As time passed, Ella grew into her role. She honed her skills, embracing the challenges that came with safeguarding the ancient artifacts. The mansion, once a symbol of fear and danger, became a sanctuary once more, filled with the echoes of laughter and the warmth of purpose. Yet amidst this new life, Ella never forgot the roots that had anchored her. She remained the kind-hearted waitress from Joe's diner, the woman who had once offered a homeless man a cup of coffee and a listening ear. For Ella knew it was that simple act of kindness that had set in motion a chain of events that had changed her life forever.